The announcement in late November 2024 of an official vocal duo unit composed of DK and Seungkwan, two main vocalists from Seventeen's long-standing vocal unit, initiated a sustained and nuanced discussion within the K-pop industry and its observer communities. According to the official release from Pledis Entertainment, the duo's single, titled Blue and scheduled for release in the first quarter of 2025, was described as a showcase of their matured artistic synergy and a natural next step in their decade-long partnership. However, this specific pairing, notable for being the first official duo derived solely from within a single fixed subunit, quickly became a focal point for broader analysis. The central question that emerged in online forums, media commentary, and fan communities was not about the members' talents, but about the implications for Seventeen's foundational creative system. Discussions questioned whether this move represented an evolutionary adaptation of the subunit model, a temporary exploration, or a potential sign of creative compartmentalization after years of celebrated cross-unit collaboration. To understand the resonance of this debate, context regarding Seventeen's operational structure is necessary. Since their 2015 debut, Seventeen has managed its 13 members through a fixed unit system, consisting of the vocal unit, hip-hop unit, and performance unit. This structure was originally implemented to ensure clarity and accountability, assigning specific core responsibilities to each grouping. For years, the system was praised for turning a large group into a manageable and efficient creative engine. The evolution of this system saw the occasional formation of special units that cross these lines, such as the leaders unit or the performance project teams. But the core three units remain the immutable foundation for all primary group activities. The perceived integrity and balance between these distinct units have been a cornerstone of Seventeen's identity, both administratively and in the eyes of their fanbase. The announcement of the DK and Seungkwan duo followed a series of other official subunit announcements that had already shifted focus in 2024. Earlier that year, the duo JW, featuring Jonghan from the vocal unit and Wonwoo from the hip-hop unit, debuted with the single album This Man. Subsequently, announcements were made for the debut of the duo HW, comprising leaders Woozi from the vocal unit and Hoshi from the performance unit, and CXM, featuring Eskus and Mingyu from the hip-hop unit. All these pairings were cross-unit collaborations, reinforcing a narrative of the system facilitating creative exchange between its different specialized branches. In this sequence, the DK and Seungkwan announcement stood out precisely because it did not follow this emerging pattern. It returned the focus squarely to expertise within a single domain, prompting observers to map a new strategic direction. Public and online reactions to the announcement were multifaceted and evolved over the subsequent weeks. Initial responses from the dedicated fan base known as Carrots were overwhelmingly positive on social media platforms, celebrating the long-awaited official partnership of two beloved vocalists. Pre-release teaser images and music snippets for Blue, which highlighted a minimalist emotive sound, were widely praised for their sophistication and maturity. However, alongside this support, a parallel discourse developed in spaces dedicated to industry analysis and critical fan discussion. Commentators on platforms like YouTube and specialized forums began to articulate a thesis that this decision might signal a new phase for Seventeen's creative management. Some analysts suggested that after a decade of reinforcing the integrated system, the company and group might be strategically decoupling the members' individual brand building from the rigid unit structure, allowing for projects based purely on vocal or rap synergy without the need for cross-unit justification. Other perspectives questioned whether this indicated a depletion of the cross-unit creative concepts or a shift in resource allocation. Media outlets published articles noting that vocal-focused subunits from established groups often achieve strong digital chart performance, as they cater to a general public audience that prioritizes melodic content over performance complexity. According to these reports, such a pairing could be seen as a commercially astute move. Conversely, some longtime followers of the group expressed a sentiment often framed as concern that venturing deeper into intra-unit projects risked undoing the very interdisciplinary magic that defines Seventeen's title tracks, where the seamless handoff from vocal to rap to dance is a signature trait. This viewpoint held that the system's genius was in forcing collaboration, not in sanctioning separation. Official statements from the members and the label in the lead-up to the release aimed to frame the project within the group's ongoing narrative. In a press conference and various magazine interviews, DK and Seungkwan consistently described the duo as a personal and artistic milestone. They emphasized that the timing was critical, stating that only after 10 years of development did they feel they had had the individual artistic weight and shared vision to carry a full release as a pair. They positioned Blue not as a vocal unit subset, but as a distinct project that happened to feature two vocalists. A representative from Pledis Entertainment, in a statement to Newson, reiterated that the group's subunit system was designed to be flexible, stating, "The system has always supported the diverse artistic expressions of the members, whether through the full group, the fixed units, or various other combinations. This new duo is another example of that principle in action." The debate intensified with the release of Blue in February 2025. The song was a critical success, praised by music critics for its vocal technique and emotional delivery. Commercially, it performed strongly on digital music charts, achieving a high peak position and stable longevity, which industry observers noted validated the commercial logic behind the pairing. However, the successful release did not quell the analytical discussion. It merely provided new data points. Following the song's release, commentary shifted to compare the outputs of the different duo types. Analysts and fans created side-by-side comparisons of the musical genres, promotional styles, and chart performances of the cross-unit duos versus the intra-unit vocal duo. Online, threads dissected whether the promotional cycle for Blue felt isolated from the typical 17 brand energy, with some noting a more subdued, music show-focused approach compared to the variety-heavy promotions of units like BSS. The discussion then broadened further to consider the long-term trajectory of the group, now in their 11th year. Some industry commentators, cited in publications like Korea Jongang Daily, framed the intra-unit duo as a logical step for a mature group. Their analysis suggested that as members solidify their individual careers, the strict necessity of the cross-unit framework for internal cohesion might lessen, allowing for more expert-driven projects. This perspective views the system not as eroding, but as entering a new stage of utility, where it can serve as a reliable home base while members explore specific artistic niches. An opposing view, frequently expressed in fan community debates, worries that this could lead to a gradual siloing, where the full group comebacks become the only site of meaningful interaction between the units, potentially diluting the integrated creative process that fans believe produced signature hits like Don't Wanna Cry or Home. The situation remains ongoing and observational. There is no internal conflict reported, nor has there been any indication from the group or company of abandoning the core three-unit system, which continues to be used for full group album planning and world tour structuring. The controversy, such as it is, exists almost entirely in the realm of public interpretation and analysis. It highlights the level of scrutiny applied to a group of 17 stature, where every creative decision is parsed for deeper meaning about sustainability and evolution. The subunit system, once hailed as a solution to the problem of 13 members, now faces a different kind of test, the test of relevance and adaptability in a second decade. Whether the DK and Seungkwan duo is an isolated exception or the first in a series of intra-unit projects is a question that only future announcements will answer. The system, praised for its rigidity, is now being evaluated for its flexibility, and the current discourse reflects a fan base and an industry watching closely to see how one of K-pop's most celebrated structural innovations will navigate the challenges of longevity and artistic renewal.